The wood yawns itself awake. Streams of sunlight flood through the thickets. A slight breeze aids the trees to rub and sway together. Creaking like an oiled door hinge, looking like a hermaphrodite. Dancing fairies play. Rabbits hop from burrow to burrow. Mother Nature is on the decks as the volume of forest life comes alive. Robins, chaffinch, blue tits and blackbirds chirp their lines in a feathery choir. Buzzards glide across the sky, silent assassins looking for prey. Forest light grows stronger, vibrant greens come alive, wild garlic leaf perfumes the air. The babbling creek adds its thunderous baritone to the feathery choir. Moss, ivy, bark, young buds of spring paint the wood with colour. Snowdrops pop up like pearls of wisdom, and the morning dew sits on top of it all. The wood's varnish gives it a Mr. Sheen gleam. A gleam which reflects the picturesque life and hope of spring. A new gift for life for all who reside there. New life will bring eternal hope for the future seasons ahead in our wood called Colin Glen. So welcome to Acoustic Haven. And that, as you probably gathered, was called Colin Glen. And I didn't read it because winter's just come in and we're all hoping for spring. I read it because the first time that I met our next guest, told a wee story about how she had spent a bit of time in the Half Moon Lake up at Lenadown during COVID, and she read this beautiful poem. And so I kind of thought the connection between Colin Glen and the Half Moon Lake, they're a stone's throw away from each other. So that was my tribute to Niamh's poem. So anyway, enough of the prattle. Tonight we have one of Ireland's best poets, and I don't say that very lightly. She's working her bum off, so much so that I had to write 3 pages of research down into one today to try and figure out what to talk about. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Niamh McNally.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'm going to read my first poem, The Half Moon Lake, as Mark gave me that gorgeous introduction of his poem, Colin Glen. So I'm going to read a poem that's round the corner from that. I wrote this poem just after COVID, and at this time I remember being in the house a lot and you were only allowed to go, I can't remember what the amount of distance was from your house, but I went to the Half Moon Lake, which is a beautiful lake in the middle of Lenadown in West Belfast, if anyone is familiar with it. I started thinking about, the idea of being able to breathe after being in the house, and the paranoia and the anxiety around COVID and everything that was. And I walked outside of the Half Moon Lake, and then I saw this mural, a famine mural, and it kind of made me think of different times, of different periods of time where there was devastation, or there was a pandemic of some description, or people's lives were forced to do something else, or they're forced to move away, and I was forced to be inside, and it just made me think. So this is the Half Moon Lake. A segment of sun peels through the split sky this winter. I leave to find air. Stepping into blinding rays, they lure me into a November frost that extracts my lung dust. Water, spiralling paths, a lunar lake, solstice reflects off the ponds as I roam through unchurned buttercups. I pretend to shine it under my chin. Barbed wire jaggies expose spikes of emerald ice smashed from the night before. Scentless mint defends daisies who look up at me. They cry out for heat as though bent in front of a failing fire. I must continue and ignore their pleas. Trees greet me with their confetti that I trample into the gravel. Other leaves are blood splattered with reds and pinks and orange tips. Some stragglers hold on for dear life. Leaving the forest, a washed out mural on a brick wall presents a backdrop for this walk. It tells me of hunger, blight, and lack of light in days much darker than this.
It's brilliant.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, Niamh, well, welcome to the show. It's brilliant to have you.
Thanks for having me, it's class.
This is one of the ones, there's 5 or 6 people that we've had from day one on our list of who we wanted. And we're delighted to have you, and it's brilliant. Thank you very much for coming along.
It's a pleasure.
So first time I met you was in the Foggy Brew, and you were about to go freelance, is it?
Yeah.
So how's that been going for you then? How's things?
I can't believe it's been so long since that night.
I know.
That was our good friend Marty. He was launching a book that
That's
night.
right, aye.
In the
The only
Foggy
guy
Brew.
that did a book launch with books.
That's it, exactly. he's the best, and it was so lovely. The Foggy Brew, miss it.
Yeah,
Class
definitely.
place. Yeah. So since I went freelance, wow, it's been a busy couple of years, but it's been so fun. I've taken on a few projects. I've been working with people like the John Hewitt Society, Translink. I was a poet in residence for a year and a half, and we had books published. A book published with them called Poetry Emotion, which I can show you later. But yeah, it's been really, really fun. There's been no lack of kind of projects to be at, poetry events to go to, readings.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky, you know.
Brilliant. And I noticed one of the things that attracted me was you did a thing about Emily Dickinson for the BBC.
Yes.
What was that like? Was that
was
just
good.
reading her works, or was it talking about her life, or?
So we were just talking about fairies, and now there's a serendipity already in the room.
Yeah.
So I found out this is so, one of those mad things that I've been obsessed with Emily Dickinson for a load of years. I just think she's the best. I'm going to put it on camera. The best there ever was, the best there ever will be. I love Dickinson's work. But I heard that there was a new book coming out of her collected works.
Right.
The first time since like the 60s, I think, of a complete collected works of little scraps of paper that she had written on,
Oh,
or
right, okay.
works that were edited by these publishers, these editors and stuff. And it turns out that one of the guys that edited it is like a lecturer in, I can't remember the university, but it's in Europe, and he's from the Shaws Road where I grew up. I was like, there is no way. And Harvard University Press sent me a copy of this book, and I reviewed it. Well, I use review lightly. It was me gushing for a few pages over this. I called it in the review like a block of gold that arrived on my doorstep. And yeah, it was new letters that had been edited, works. There was actually recipes by Dickinson,
Oh, wow.
her own handwriting on so much. And it was so detailed that I just gushed over it. So
Yeah.
that was my review. And then I got asked for the BBC to come on and chat about Book Week.
Right.
And at that time, I was actually reading this book, so I brought it along with me for the Book Week NI last year.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, it was class.
So has that come about? Because I was wondering, I was like, how did you get that number?
It was that thick as well.
You know,
It was
that's,
massive.
and then you do a lot of work at the Seamus Centre as well.
Yeah, the home place up in Balahi. So I've taught up there for 6 years now.
Yeah.
Taking workshops on Robert Frost and Seamus Heaney. Recently we've delved into bog bodies, if you've ever read Heaney's work on the Tullant Man and the Grobble Man.
Right, okay.
So it's spooky season, so I'm kind of jumping in a wee bit more to the bog bodies and the love of bog land and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's always fun. I love the home place.
I've never been.
You've never been?
No, it's simply because I can't get to it because I don't drive. It's a bugger to get to otherwise, you know.
I know.
And Shanks's pony isn't as good as it used to be.
I know. It's 2 buses away, but definitely worth it, you know.
Okay, well, I'll give it a go then,
Give
sooner
it a
or
go.
later. And John Hewitt Society,
Yeah.
you're there quite a lot, aren't you?
I
You're
am,
doing something
yeah.
at the minute.
I am, yes. I'm the project coordinator there, which is so fun. I've been taking a project 2 years now called Freedom to Write / Writing for the Island. But we organised the John Hewitt Summer School in Armagh, and now I'm looking towards Look North.
All right.
which will happen in February. So the Looking
Right.
Honest North Belfast Festival, which is going to be the biggest it's ever been. We're going to have over 60 events in 3 days.
Wow.
So it's pretty heavy. It's
And
heavy.
that's right across.
All across the north of the city, and some inner city spots as well.
Right, okay.
But yeah, mostly North Belfast, and it's a focus there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That should be good.
it's gonna be class. Yeah, I love it.
Maybe look into having a wee nosy about doing some reviews up there.
Yeah, there's loads of there's going to be so many literary events, but also like political talks. You know, it's everywhere. We are part of like the cluster of the Heritage Building.
Yeah.
So a lot of our events are put in places like the Dunkern, the Orange Halls, the Clifton House. You know,
Right,
there's tours
yeah.
everywhere. In Sailor Town as well, right up to the Cave Hill, right across. And
Wow.
we have like a samba night in Crumlin Road Jail, which is fun. So there's
That
loads.
should be interesting.
Yeah, it's a good variety.
I did see a Johnny Cash review and a Johnny Cash tribute act in there years ago. It was absolutely fantastic. The place was jumping. And so, how did TransLink come about? That's one that kind of...
TransLink, I know. Well, I don't drive, so I love a wee bus and train. Yeah, TransLink messaged me. I was very, very lucky. And I started working with them when the new train station was put in York Street,
Yeah.
which was a brand new station. And they said they wanted to do the underpass up, which is beside the station.
Yeah.
And they said, Niamh, this is one of the craziest things ever, and I loved it. And they said, we want to put art in there, but we want to put your poem on the ceiling. So can you write us a poem for the ceiling? And I said, absolutely. How long does it have to be? What size does it have to be? You know? And they said 80 foot long. So I thought, what's 80 foot? You know, how do I do that? And also, I asked them, you know, we wanted to do something to do with poetry and putting poets on trains and buses.
Yeah.
So we had poets that did day residencies all over the north.
I saw Marty doing
Marty
that.
did it,
That's
yeah.
right,
He was our Belfast poet. So Marty in one day did north, south, east and west.
Right.
And all of the poets, I actually have the book with me. We published a Poetry in Motion book, which is here. And that's the
Okay.
poem on the roof as well.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, all of our poets are in
There you
this.
go.
It's Poetry in Motion. And we opened it to the public as well. So we had
I'm going to buy that off you.
no, they're totally free, and they were in all over the north. And you know, loads of poets put in their poetry about being on trains, sitting on a bus, looking out the window, and they sent them all to us, and we published them.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was class. It was good fun. Yeah.
And then, of course, your workshops down in the marketplace in Armagh.
Oh
You're
yeah.
blooming everywhere.
I'm I know. I never stop.
You're blooming everywhere.
I never stop. No, the marketplace is well. We have the summer school, the John Hewitt Summer School, in the marketplace as well.
Yeah.
But at the weekend there, it was my first time taking my own workshop in the marketplace. So I
Right.
was down not as John Hewitt Niamh, but as workshopper Niamh, and it was so fun. I took a workshop all about the land, so mythology, ancestry, and yeah, the spirituality with poems.
Right.
And we focused on Seamus Heaney, Paula Meehan and Mary Oliver. So our nature lovers in the room, you would have loved it.
And then you did, that was the one that you've just done or you're about to do is about love, is that right?
Yeah, that's
Poems
at the end
to
of
do
November.
with love, and that's the end of November.
Yeah, so any love poets out there that you might, or writers that would like to explore that, please do.
Sounds good, huh?
Yeah. Do you ever write love poems?
I've written one or two, but not many. Come on, did I look like that kind of guy?
we had the conversation earlier with the poet the other day with the poets, and I said, you know, like music songs.
Yeah.
What's a bigger theme, love or death?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, you could apply that to poetry.
Aye,
What's been written more about, love or death? I don't know. Maybe love. The sonnet.
I don't know. There's too many. It's too
Nature.
hard to say.
I know.
But, and then, of course, you're working in... I saw that you were in Dublin as well, doing something earlier this year.
Yeah, I was down in Dublin a couple of weeks ago. So that project, Freedom to Write and Writing for the Island, we brought 20 writers together for 8 workshops north and south of the border.
Okay.
And they were emerging writers. They were all eco-poets or prose writers, so with a focus on nature. And what we did, we give them master classes throughout June right up to October. And they took... the bells. The workshops were with people like Paul McVeigh. We had other writers like B.B. Ashley, Louise Neal and Stephen Saxton. All of these experts in their craft.
Right.
And then they had their showcase in Dublin
Excellent.
3 weekends ago, the day after the storm. So most of them made it. But we had riders coming from all over the island, and the day before a storm hit, I thought,
Oh, well, at least
but everyone was safe, everyone's good, and it was a great night.
brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have a couple of poems, shall we?
Sure, yeah, let's
That's
do
what
it.
you're here for, so
Let's go for it. This next poem is called St. Dimna's Stain. For anyone who has a favourite saint out there, she's definitely one of mine. She is the patron saint of mental health, and also I found out once when I was kind of struggling with my mental health, I went into a cathedral and I saw her and I thought she looked really awkward, and I kind of related to her in that way. And I looked at her and she was kind of standing a bit awkwardly, and I kind of left and ended up Googling what Dimna meant in Irish, and it translates to poetess. And I thought, of course it does, like poetry. So I wrote this poem about her, and yeah, I hope you guys like it. St. Dimna's Stain. St. Dimna holds her sword awkwardly in trace lines. This patron for mental health seems a stain herself. Daydreaming through light leaks, her place is lead fixed. I wondered if she's looking out or staring in through abrasion. Tinted jewel fragments suit her though, and fragile panels are fitting, as those gristle eyes know I feel as brittle as she looks. One throw could shatter her composure, a pebble could pierce the heart. Yet she stands amongst the others with empathy through the pain. You, a once pagan princess, I found myself asking, what does Dimna mean in Irish again? To which she replies, poet.
brilliant.
Thank you. I don't know if anyone in the room likes Wuthering Heights, but at this time of year when it's a wee bit spooky, you always think of Cathy and Heathcliff and all that kind of stuff. I didn't realise that their daddy was from here. The Bronte's daddy was from, if I pronounce this right, Ballyroney Churchyard, up near, it's kind of near Newry. And I remember going with my girlfriend, Shannon, who's sitting right over there, and we saw this mosaic in the middle of this field, and it was all broken, and it was Cathy and Heathcliff, you know, looking out to the moors, and it was all very haunted and romantic and gorgeous and psychotic and all those amazing words that come from Wuthering Heights. And I thought to myself, imagine I was on the moors, you know, imagine I was with Emily and thinking about all that kind of stuff. So I wrote a Bronte mosaic, and the last 3 lines are the last 3 lines of the novel, describing the graves of the lead characters. So on a spooky October night, the week of Samhain, I hope you enjoy a Bronte mosaic. A Bronte mosaic was pieced together with precise shards of hard eyes and lips. Phantom squares roaming in a patchwork of worn moor. Sliced topography with pastel-coloured tiles. We imagined hearing whistling incantations of spirit souls damning hell on a Saturday in April. A severed coloured wheel of blues and greens blended with pale violets behind broken silver stars. Cursed purples wilted against burnt oranges which seemed to peel off the concrete canvas. I picked a teal fragment from the ground, like a segment of soul forced off the stone for me. Looking up at her, I saw desperate hands outstretched into eternal abyss. Your vigil was shattered, Cathy, I beg to say. I feel in my soul you have not passed. He stood waiting until nightfall as you lay, wandering in ceramic. You haunt hellish blood-stained glass. A different churchyard, in a different time. The slanted headstones read, Earnshaw, grey, half buried. Linton, harmonised by turf with creeping moss at its foot. Heathcliff, still bare. Woo. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so finally then, what's for the future for Niamh McNally?
The future, it's scary. Well, I'm very lucky to have a poem coming out, which is going to be in the Grand Central Station on the
Okay.
wall
Oh, brilliant.
in metal, which is fun. So it's called Moments in the Station, and I think it's the scariest thing ever. It's going to be there forever.
Great.
So I'm looking forward to that coming out. For me, just writing, doing more projects, looking forward to working with the John Hewitt Society more and doing a lot of poetry events. But with my own writing, for the past couple of years, 4 years now, I've been working towards my first collection.
Right.
And I'll always have the thing, it's not ready yet, it's not ready yet, it's not ready. I'm hoping in the next year or two it's going to be.
Yeah, it's got to be there.
It's got to be there.
You don't want to keep pushing it away.
No.
Believe me.
Into the future, no, I think it's nearly ready.
Bite
yeah.
the bullet, because your stuff's good enough. So.
Oh, here, thank you so much.
The other thing, just before you go, and you're reading at the Farstead on
Yes,
Thursday.
I'm thinking further in the future. This Thursday is Samhain night.
That's
So
right.
it's going to be spooky, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course we mentioned the marketplace, the love poetry.
Yes, our love poetry. So that's going to be at the end of November. So anyone that's watching this and you want to come and explore love poetry in all its forms and in all its different ways, you're most welcome.
Okay. Well, I think
Thank you so much.
that's us for now.
Thank you. So this next poem comes from a book that we were chatting about, Poetry in Motion, which we published it with TransLink after a year of being their poet in residence, which was really fun. But one of the highlights for me was getting to speak to all the artists. We're in a room filled with art at the minute, and I got to speak with all the street artists, graffiti artists too, and they were just amazing. But they had a language that I remember sitting with them, and they were teaching me things like cutting back and line work and bombing a spot and all this type of linguistics that they would use in their everyday kind of spraying. And I took those and incorporated it into a poem called Line Work, and it's on the roof of the underpass alongside the two sides, which is Derry and Belfast, and all of their work. So if you're ever at York Street, check it out. It might make you a bit dizzy if you walk underneath it, but that's Line Work. So this is the poem. Like I said, I stuck riders on buses and trains all over the north, between Fermanagh, Lakelands to like Derry, Tyrone. We had north, south, east, west, Belfast. There was everybody, and tried to get as much of this wee place covered as possible. So this is Line Work. In that golden hour, when timed light is softened through glass, piles of railway sleepers rest above Sailortown's underpass. A beacon blinks as ghost seamen spot the shine of docklands. Indigo shadows shape form and shade pages that are pressed in heritage of place. The last train breaks, halting above us. Our echoes dance, then reverberate deep within the underpass, deep within the heart of North Belfast. Magic whispers to mystics in this piece. Artist voices converse from marginalia, brushing, spraying and dipping York Street in ink. Sheet fields are zipped with speed as primary colours illuminate melted metal, forging arterial routes skyward. Connecting and prying mid-air open, their colours transcend toward clouds surrounded in blue. Off-grid tape lines gently slip into sprayed sounds. Enchanted arrows and crowns whisk us off to a fairy morn. Whispering names into ears with concealed lettering, crimson diagonal stripes with white gaps snap the speed of liminal express. A barrier lens breaks momentum into focus. Index pressing motions cut back reality for beauty, foreshadowing Benevena, opening our eyes to see from within a cliff under Musselin Temple. Vast quietness coats Glen Shane's winter canvas. Brushstrokes capture roads who kiss Loch Ern's mossy banks. Watercolours wade in tides above outlined bridges, journeys ceaselessly distract us with transients. Train curvatures at dawn awaken Belfast Loch as we travel toward taped cityscapes. Communities are painted in tonal ranges along the water's reflection. Commuters travel after sunrise, alongside the twitching eyes of Cave Hill, still tucked in.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Thanks so much. You're so good for listening, thank you. So this is my most recent poem. I just realised we've got a thistle. Yo! Oh! We've got a Scot in the room.
Another prickly fucker.
I was like so lucky, and I feel really proud of this book because I started working with Choice Housing, and I had a meeting with them last September, and they said, Niamh, we would love you to do something to do with poetry and these different areas in the north. And I thought, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to visit 7 areas, take 3 workshops per area, get people to write, visit museums, local history points, and then get everybody to send me their work. And they did. So a year later, we published this book. About a month and a half ago, the People, Place, Space anthology, filled with the 7 chapters of the 7 areas. One of those chapters was Hillsborough. And I have to say, I'm crap at sewing, but I did a 6-week textile course with these women. And during that time, and they wrote some poems, but during that time, you know, we made canvases that were actually displayed in Hillsborough Castle. But I wrote a poem for them, and I called it History's Stitched. And it has a beautiful thistle, illustrated by Fiona McDonnell, and these lovely stork scissors that I was obsessed with. So I'm going to finish tonight with History's Stitched. History's Stitched. It was the individual needles and compass points, the poetry embroidered into and written through blank linen. We became chain-stitched in layers of hellebores, rows of Sharons, and yellowy whin. Our stories were felt tip pen colours, mapping out, sinking into each lined petal as our lives weaved around the table beside the stable yard. The needle threader's face gleamed, a miraculous medal or a monarch's profile shining straight from the royal mint. Stretched around a wooden loop, the women laugh as we push pearl top pins into fabric, marking the ombre blue and rose nasturtiums, the geranium petals, needle thistles and snowdrops, melting barriers over cross stitches and cups of tea. Our giggles spread like butterbur and shine as flashes of comets do in a night-skied wintry canvas. Stork scissors deliver the beginning and trim the end of our story threads, cutting secured knots at the back. The front, showing what we want to. Underneath, a web of intricate crosses, knotted, looped, and held together as histories are, both part of us, yet unseen. We leave, ready for next week.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate that.
Well, once again, another cracking show, another, what would you call it, another programme of absolute raw talent from this neck of the woods, and it just gets better and better every week. From Niamh, we have these 2 lovely books with various poets and people that I think I might be right in saying some that weren't even poets until they wrote a poem or 2. You can get these lying about. This one's a translink book, and this one isn't. And you might get them in 2 Royal Avenue, but have a look for them online. You never know, you might get them. And that kind of big thanks to Niamh, and big thanks to Darren for the sound work, the camera work, listening to my nonsense and all the other things that come with it. A big thanks to Ink Cavan for the sponsorship. It helps us out a lot. And I think that's it as far as the thanks go. Big thanks to Niamh again, just in case I missed her the first time. And just a quick reminder that next week we have Carl Devlin on the show. It was meant to be Kyle John Suckling, but something's come up for Kyle that he can't make that. So Carl was meant to be on the show a couple of weeks ago, so we brought him forward. So, yeah. So from Ink Haven, Acoustic Haven even, I'd just like to say thanks very much and tune in later on in the week.
Woo!
I get completely lost there.